Coming up on Network Africa, over 100 people killed in a ferry capsize on Lake Victoria in Tanzania. Six people die in Libya as renewed fighting escalates in the capital. And Bobby Wine speaks on the liberation of Ugandans upon his return from the United States. Welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shoboele. We begin in Tanzania, where over 100 people have died after a ferry carrying hundreds of people capsized on Lake Victoria. Many more are missing, and there are fears that more than 200 people may have drowned. Reports say the overloaded vessel tipped over when crowds on board moved to one side as it docked. Tanzania has seen a number of nautical disasters, with overcrowding often playing a role.
Here lies the wreckage of an overturned ferry that sank in Tanzania's part of Lake Victoria on Thursday, killing over 100 people. Government officials fear the death toll could reach 200, as initial estimates show there were more than 300 people on board. In the meantime, Mwanza District Commissioner John MONGELA says rescue workers are concentrating on finding survivors from the disaster and that 2 other vessels have been diverted to help in the operation.
We're here to rescue, so that if there are those alive, with God's help, we rescue those who are alive, and for those who have died, we rescue them. For now, we're concentrating on rescue operations. As you can see, specialists have arrived. We have diverted MV Clarius from Mwanza and directed it to come here. MV Nyonge has been diverted to come here.
National Ferry Services operator Tamisa says the MV Nyerere went down in the afternoon, just a few meters from the dock in Ukerewe district. But it is hard to establish the precise number of passengers on board, since the person dispensing tickets had also drowned, with the machine recording the data lost. In 1996, a ferry disaster on Lake Victoria in the same region killed at least 500 people. And in 2012, at least 145 people died in a ferry disaster in Tanzania's semi-autonomous archipelago of Zanzibar in the Indian Ocean, on a vessel that was overcrowded.
For more on this is Tanzanian journalist Simon McKenna. Glad you could join us on the program, Simon. Do we have any idea what could have caused the ferry to overturn in Lake Victoria?
As you have heard, the reason why the MV Nyerere capsized is just because of overloaded. The ferry actually is supposed to carry not one passengers and 25 tons of cargo. But it says that more than 300 people were in the vessel, plus 3 or 4 buses and one a cargo carrier that has been in the ferry. So the reason is all about overloaded.
So we understand that this type of accident is not the first of its kind on the lake. What measures has the government put in place to avoid a reoccurrence in the future?
Yes, this is the second tragedy that has occurred in the Lake Victoria. The first one occurred in 22 years ago, and it involved MV Bukoba, and close to 1,000 people died. And this time around, we are hoping that, and it's said that more than 150 people have been lost. There is no way we can find them. So we hope that these people have died because of that tragedy. And the government has been trying to make sure that we don't have any other occurrence of this type, but it's very sad that in 22 years we have another tragedy of the same character that happened in the very same lake.
Will anyone be sanctioned for the overloading of the ferry?
No, not yet. We are not sure if the president or any minister can take action of sanctioning anyone in this tragedy.
Okay, so what happens next after this accident? Will there be a mass burial for the victims, or are the families of the victims responsible for the burials?
Not really, because up to this moment, families have gathered along the lake, along the shore, and others at the hospitals. They are collecting their relatives, the good ones, their loved ones, and they take them home for the burial. And it's norm here that if 3 or 4 days pass without some bodies being spotted by the relatives, the government take action of having burying them in a mass grave.
President of the Tanzanian Journalist Alliance, Simon Nkina, thanks for joining us on the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Staying with Tanzania, the government has ordered a U.S. aid organization to cease advertising family planning services in the country's media. The Health Permanent Secretary told the organization, FH1360, to stop with immediate effect the airing and publishing of any family planning content in any media channel until further notice. The development comes after President John Magufuli said that women should stop using contraceptions because the country needed more people. Tanzania has a population of around 53 million people, with 49% of them living on less than $2 a day.